I promised a video on survey and why it's important to have a survey, and this is a good visual example of why it is. When we bought this property, this is our property on the right, and this is another person's property here on the left. Basically, we were told that this middle line here is our boundary. And so we decided to still do the survey just to be double sure. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when they did the survey, where they found our property. So that's the middle, supposedly. Walk, walk, walk. It's right here. This is actually the boundary line, or this is actually the property line right here, and this is where they said it was. So that's a good almost 15 feet off. Okay, so if you follow this boundary line that they created for us, you'll see we put some pink string right here. You can see that, just to see we can follow their T-post. So you can see follow the string, and you need to make sure when you're doing the string that nothing is hindering it, or nothing is blocking it, that it's really straight as can be, and you follow every post that they put there. All right, so the first one we saw was this property boundary stick right here. It's not very tall, and you can see there's a dip, and that's why it's the string is up there, but it follows that line. If you look at it, it's actually on top of it. That's right, on top of it. Now we're like, okay, this line crossed this boundary, so you can see at the front from there all the way, and then it crossed this boundary. So we followed it to a T-post. So now this is the boundary line. Remember, it started, we had it there on the left. Now you have it on the right of me. And we followed it, make sure nothing is blocking it. And it's all the way there. That's the T-post right there. Okay. So you have to follow this string. You know that you are doing it correctly if your line is not crooked, it's straight, and that there's nothing touching it. So what we did, we used our machete, everything, remove any possible obstacle that could touch that string. Nothing touches that string. Okay, and so you can see the T-post right there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. Let me go further in. There you go. So that's that T-post right there. So you can see straight. And so earlier, our property was on the property boundary line started on the left side, and now we're way onto the right. You might think, oh my God, why is the line zigzag? No, it's not the line. It's the boundary that they mulch that is zigzagging. So if you follow that line, you're gonna go, oops, all the way in. So we tried to look for it. Where is this T-post? Now you can see it's starting to move back into the boundary that they cut. And if you look at it, let me see. There's that pink line. We're following that line. Followed it. Whew. You can see now. What do you guys see? That pink line crossed that boundary again. Okay, this is for the left. Now this is the right side. Again, and now it crossed. You see that mulch area? So now it kind of crossed a little bit again. And then it's back again to the side. It's crazy, y'all. So we didn't have any more energy. We stopped on this T-post. Okay, so you can see, you see how it zigzags everywhere. Good news, bad news. Good news is that now we know where our property line is. Bad news is we'd have to figure out with our neighbor what we're going to do with access to our property. Eventually our goal is to put some T-posts. We have dogs. We want to make sure that they don't go past our boundary. We also want to secure it later on, so we're planning on putting some T-post fences in between the property as our boundary line. But then that leaves us with a walkable boundary where it's gonna be part is his, part is ours, part is his, part is ours, just like zigzag. So what are we gonna do on the areas where you can't walk on your neighbor's property? So that's also a dilemma on our part, because then like, hey, now we have to create a new path for us to be able to walk to our property. So that's why it's good news, bad news. But the good news is at least as early as now we know. All right, so this is where we stop. It was a lot of work. It's not easy following that line because you have to really be true to everything. You cannot, you have to make sure that the string is not touching anything. So from here, let's find the next T-post. So remember, we found it on my right side. So let's look for the next T-post. I don't see it yet. Your guess is as good as mine. Whether it's on the right or on the left. Let's see. So we see, oh, there you go. You see a property boundary here. So you see now this entire boundary that we are walking on with is now our neighbor's property. So it's now on the right. So you see, we have to create a new path over here. So we have to go follow that. That's going to be a challenge because that's a lot of debris right there that Jack and I would have to clear out for us to get to this post. And then we're going to follow that one. Oh God, that's a lot of debris right there.